And oftentimes women that are so busy and so career driven and so goal oriented, they even sacrifice starting families. There's a desire there, but because they've married their careers or they've married their success, they've married this busy lifestyle, they often put slowing down to actually plant roots or dig roots in their lives on the back burner. So they look up one day and they realize that, man, I have sacrificed so much and I really don't have much to show for it outside of a resume, right? I have so much I don't have much to show for it outside of a skill set. And so those things are not sustainable for you in the long run. Hey, hello, I am Raven No for those that do not know me, and I am known as a soul physician. I am a mindset coach, life coach, and counselor, and I am excited to be before you again for yet another live stream. So I'm excited to share this topic with you because I feel like this is such a relevant topic for the times that we are in, especially with a lot of women. And so specifically, I work with women clientele, and I know that there are a lot of big dreams, big goals that women want to accomplish, and sometimes we get a little bit clouded thinking that being busy is actually the way to do so. So I really want to give some insight onto that. As always, anything that I bring to you, I've been studying this for a very long time, right? And so I also work with clients that I know for a fact that these are issues that they have struggled with or they're currently struggling with, and one of the reasons why they're working with me is to be able to overcome those issues. And so one of those things, again, for high achieving, high performing women is this badge of busy. So first and foremost, I want to say that busyness does not determine your identity, nor does it validate that you are needed, important, or valued. Okay, so women are starting to really venture out, build businesses, build brands, really climb the corporate ladder. And the issue is that they feel that their success or their busyness or the display of the work that they are doing is actually validation for them. They're finding their identity in what they do. And so they continue to want to build, businesses, climb the corporate ladder, but it's becoming a toxic, almost like addiction for them. Okay. And so sometimes we don't realize it, but our actions speak louder than sometimes the things that we are saying or the things that we are thinking. And so busyness does not determine your value. It does not affirm you in who you are. Secondarily, with this state of busyness, a lot of women don't understand or see the fact that busyness and the sacrifice of busyness is actually costing them more in their life and in their career in the long run. Okay, so I am going to take a little bit of your time, about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm not going to be before you long, but I want to explain to you and kind of teach you on why the badge of busyness is not a badge of honor and how it's actually costing you a lot. All right. So today's live stream is going to shift your perspective from the view of being booked and busy, right? So being booked and busy is actually, it can translate to overscheduled, overly committed, and unhealthily sacrificing important and valuable key components of your life. Okay, so booked and busy isn't always a good term to use. All right, so I'm gonna go there today. I'm gonna give you some raw and real today. All right, busyness is defined as to keep occupied or having a great deal to do. Okay, so that's what busyness is defined as, to keep occupied or have a great deal to do. Follow me, okay? And then occupied is defined as being used or unavailable. Okay, being used or unavailable. So when you are busy, being a high performing individual who is solely focused on career success, it means that you are occupied with those achievements, those goals, that focus point only. Okay, those desires or that need for that hit. Because actually what people don't realize is that that career success, that desire to really be successful, being overly busy, overly committed, having this overbooked schedule, all those different things can be very addictive. Okay, so in actuality, it's giving you this hit when you actually see the success that you want to see. When you actually say, oh, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that. Oh, look at me, I've done this, I've done that. Oh, I got another person reaching out for me for this partnership, and they want me to speak here and they want me to speak there. Those accomplishments sometimes can be giving you this adrenaline rush of fulfillment, where just like, someone that may be addicted to some type of drug, they get that adrenaline rush. The same thing can be very possible for high achieving, high performing women and their outlook on success, and that need for it, and that need for accomplishment, and that need for achievements. And so it can be very addictive. All right. So if you are in that mindset, it means that you are unavailable for anything or anyone else. Okay. Being busy means that you are occupied. Secondarily, occupied means that you are unavailable. So when you are living in this mindset of busyness and this lifestyle of busyness, that means that you are unavailable for anything or anyone else, not giving the proper focus to other areas of your life that really are going to give you a greater return, more value, more worth, and different things of that nature. Okay. So this is a huge struggle, an obstacle for many high achieving, high performing women. And so, you have to realize that you are sacrificing everything for the sake of a definition, or for the sake of a false definition of success and an unhealthy addiction to your achievements. Okay. So I know it's a little bit raw, a little bit heavy. And even those that are going to be rewatching this, I got to give it to you raw today. I got to give it to you real today in order for you to kind of get yourself back in alignment with a more healthy mindset and also a more healthy work ethic. Okay. So in order to make this change in this area, it definitely will take some one-on-one hand holding and some one-on-one help, because it's a mindset. It's also habits that have to be retrained and relearned, and some things have to be switched on and switched off. But here's the thing that we have to determine for you. Okay. If you feel like you are that definition that I just kind of gave and you kind of fit in that mold, we have to determine what void is success in your achievements fulfilling for you. Okay. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to feel some type of emptiness, and so you're trying to do it by working your way, right? Or allowing achievements and accomplishments to facade or to cover up what's really going on internally. And so I've learned from working with numerous clients that are high performing, high achieving people that they have a tendency to overwork to compensate for some type of internal void. Okay. There's a tendency to overwork to compensate for some type of inner void. All right. So busyness helps to cover up the truth of what may be happening internally. Right. And you don't want to face that truth. And so because of that, you try to overwork to compensate for it, or to cover up the vulnerable parts of you so that people don't see it. And also secondarily, so that you don't have to face it. Okay. So I know that's a little bit of a raw and a real and a reality check, but it's truly what happens. Okay. So per usual, I'm going to give you as much as I can possibly in this live stream. And if you stay to the end, I'll let you know, how you can go even further with some of the information that I give in this live stream. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and give you, teach you a little bit more and go a little bit deeper in it. But I want you to ask yourself if you feel like you are one of those high achieving women that's walking around, wearing this badge of busyness, thinking that it's something that's good, when in actuality, it may be doing more harm to you than good. All right. So let's dive in it a little bit more. So as I stated in the beginning, this is about the badge of busyness is not a badge of honor, okay? So when you think about busyness, you're thinking about working those long hours to no end, right? Those lack of boundaries where you don't have a good balance, work-life balance. You're working overtime all the time, weekends, from sun up to sundown, late night emails, early morning emails. First thing you do is check your emails. Before you go to sleep, you check your emails. Just constantly in a place of working and trying to achieve something and trying to get work done. And so being overbooked, not taking lunch breaks, not taking care of yourself. Listen, I've struggled with that myself too. Not eating because you're always constantly trying to get the work done. You're on the grind. You're on the hustle. You're trying to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Working 7 days a week, like I said, 24 hours a day. Sacrificing self-care. And for the sake of completing, work projects. And here's a good one: showing up for meetings, but not showing up for yourself. Okay, that's a big one. I can show up for meetings on time, but when it comes to showing up for myself, I'm falling short, right? Canceling friend time or family get-togethers for networking events, all of this type of stuff where you're putting work first and you're putting your success first and you're putting your achievements and your goals and everything else before what really matters and things that are actually more valuable in your life. And so this type of mindset and work ethic is actually going to leave you pretty lonely, pretty empty, and emotionally disconnected. Okay. So this is a recipe for depression. Okay. So what I've learned, working with high achieving high performing women is that a lot of them struggle with depression. And you know why? Because they've avoided the real issues that are happening inside of them. There have been warning signs. Things have happened to say, hey, you need to slow down. Hey, you need to look over here. There's something going on internally. You're suppressing your emotions. You're not being upfront. You're not being real. And so there's always warning signs before before the actual symptoms come of, like depression and anxiety. But because you're so focused on working and success and trying to compensate for, what's going on internally within you, you overlook those things. And so it's a high percentage of high performing women that struggle with depression. And that's because, again, they are not facing themselves and facing the internal things that may be going on within them. They want to overlook it. They want to suppress it. They want to work their way from having to slow down and face it. Okay. And so, but here's the truth. Most are trying to take on a source of busyness to numb the feelings and thoughts of vulnerability that reveal the unsettling truth about their lives. Okay, so this is a little bit of a hard live stream that I'm doing today. I know that sometimes I can be a little bit more encouraging, but I wanted to give you the true and the raw, because I think that that's also important, is that you realize that maybe I am trying to compensate, in some sort of way, so that I don't have to slow down to feel my feelings, right? I don't have to slow down and be vulnerable and actually look at the quality of my life or the lack thereof, right? The investments I did not make. And now I'm realizing that I don't have good relationships in place. I'm realizing that a lot of the things that I want personally, I don't have, but all I really have is a resume. All I really have is a skill set. All I can really have is a line of work that I've done, but I don't have anything sustainable, things that are more valuable, things that bring me life as a human and as an individual and as a woman outside of my work. And so when we live like that, we start to find our identity in what we do, and we have a hard time believing that we are good enough outside of the things that we do, right? We struggle with insecurities, imposter syndrome. There's a lot of perfectionism that's caught into that. And so there's different things that may be happening internally within you. And so this work ethic is you're trying to overwork yourself to cover up the unsettling truth about your life. And what could those truths be? Well, it could be that childhood rejection still hunts you every day, right? Are you faced with, when you go in the boardroom, are you trying to overwork to compensate of you feel rejected, you feel unaccepted, you don't feel validated, you don't feel good enough? Or maybe perfectionism is robbing you of being your authentic self. Sometimes you've worked so much and you've been in such a habit of work that you've gotten into these careers and these lanes of work and you don't even like them. You look up and you're like, I don't even know how I even ended up here. I don't even like it. But because you were so focused on just doing the work, you didn't have time to analyze what your true desires were or what your actual purpose was outside of just doing work and showing up to put forth the efforts, right? And so you could also, one of the truths could be that loneliness. The loneliness of life is painful, right? Maybe you don't have sustainable, thriving relationships around you. Maybe you haven't invested in family relationships and family dynamics. Maybe all you have is networking, a booklet of people you can network with, right? A network of people that you can work with, but you don't have, sustainable relationships. And so another truth could be that you've married your career and now that's all you have, right? You don't have the relationship, whether that be a significant other, you don't have children, whether you can, maybe that's something you put on the back burner because you've married your career, okay? Being that the sole reason, being sensitive to those that cannot have children, but just being honest with that as well. And so those are very real things that can happen and have happened. Okay. So with the pandemic, for example, the pandemic caused us to slow down, right? So in that slowed down pandemic state of life, we had to face ourselves. And that's why so many people struggle with their mental and emotional health in the pandemic, because they had to face themselves in a very place of just being there with themselves, right? Isolated place, being alone with your thoughts, being alone with the truth of who you were, not being in a work environment, not being able to, use your accomplishments or your achievements to compensate for what you may be lacking in your life. And so that wasn't a good feeling for many people, right? That wasn't something that many people truly enjoyed or wanted to do, but it was necessary. And so it was necessary because they had to rest. right? Busyness is the opposite of rest. And that is the main point I wanted to get to through all of this, is that busyness is really the opposite of rest. And the only way to reset yourself and to truly deal with the truth of your life, or the realness of your life, is to rest. Okay. And so rest means to cease. Okay, to bring to a stop, to bring to a halt all movement and work. Okay. Women that are struggling with this, busyness, overworking, overcommitted, they don't take the time out to truly just reset and rest and to slow down. And because of that, when they were in the pandemic, it was abrupt, right? That abrupt halt to life really caused you to be overwhelmed by everything you avoided by trying to work to overcompensate what was going on internally. And so one thing I want to note is that rest should not be forced, okay? Rest should not be forced. It should be prioritized, okay? Rest should not be forced. The pandemic should not have had to force us to rest. That should have been something that we were practicing before we entered into the pandemic, okay? So what can I do, Raven, to turn all this around, right? You're probably like, okay, you done gave me some raw, you done gave me some real, you done gave me some truth, and I'm a little bit hurting right now. You're stinging me a little bit, Raven. So what can I do to overcome this and to really move forward? And so again, it will take some one-on-one help, some one-on-one attention, because it's a lot of internal habits, thought patterns, different things of that nature that have to be worked through. But one of the acronyms that I use to help my clients is REST, okay? And what that means is reevaluate your life, okay? Embrace your faults and your truth, shift your mindset and your priorities, thrive in the new. Okay. And so that's rest. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Reevaluate your life. What's going on around me? Why don't I have a desire to slow down? Have I tried to fulfill voids in my life by, overworking? What is my schedule really like? Do I lack boundaries? So reevaluating what is going on and evaluating the quality of your life, your weaknesses and your strengths. Okay. And then you want to embrace your faults and your truths. Okay. I have a fault of working too much, right? If that's your truth, you want to embrace it, right? I don't want to slow down because I don't want to face myself. That's a truth, right? You have to embrace your faults and your truths. And then third, you want to do the work to shift your mindset and your priorities. How can I have a better work-life balance? How can I come out of a mindset of striving and busyness and trying to work my way into being, something that I am not, or being seen as something that I'm not, or work my way into making people see that I am enough, or allowing my accomplishments or my achievements to validate me and my work ethic to validate me, okay? And then you want to thrive in the new. Once you've shifted your mindset and you've kind of reorganized your priorities, then you want to thrive in this new way of life by setting boundaries as well, and ensuring that you have the accountability in place to be able to continue to move forward in the new way of life, in the new way of thinking, in the new way of going about what busyness is and your new work-life balance. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in for this live stream. I hope that this helped you. I hope that it encouraged you. I know it was a little bit cutty today, right? It was a little bit raw and real, but I wanted to give you the raw and real as well. I think it's beneficial to encourage, but it's also beneficial to be honest and give you some truth. So until next time, leave me a comment or two and share this with anyone you feel will benefit. So I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your Thursday.